Has been discussing the national budget framework paper with a view to prepare a final national budget. Now, while legislators have agreed to a 52.7 trillion shilling budget, there are concerns that more adjustments can be made to make this piece of legislation friendly to the average taxpayer. Now, one of those who believes adjustments should be made is Julius Mukunda, the Executive Director at the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group. Good evening and welcome to NTV Weekend Edition. Good evening, Midred. All right. Yes. So, what are the positives to be taken from this year's budget intentions as stated in Parliament? Oh, there are so many. There are so many. It's a budget. Money is going to be spent. And that's why I usually tell Ugandans that whatever it is, please be ready to receive it. For an ordinary person in Butambara, where like the PSST comes from, of course there is PDM that is going to come. PDM started at when it was a bit shaky, but it's now in a phase where it is stabilizing. So really people should be able to have organized themselves properly and be able to receive the 100 million per parish. Okay. And therefore that one really we are looking for transformation into that one. The second important area where I'm also very happy about is that we are seeing money being pumped into infrastructure, the roads. We have problem with roads in this country. And its budget actually has increased from 4 trillion to 5 trillion, and it's going to take around 10% of the entire budget. So I'm looking forward to see more on maintenance, because that's what really I'm looking out for. But specifically for community access roads in the districts, and I think that's very critical to be able to ensure that there is this local development taking place. We are seeing money for national medical stores. It is still little, it's not enough, but I think it's still important that the government is still committed to ensure that we get medical services in our health centers, health center 1, health center 2, so that at least we have medicines there. I mean, we have also agriculture, and we are seeing a number of resources being pumped into irrigation activities. But for me, most importantly is that we want to see more seedlings to our farmers, and we're also seeing money in value addition on how we can be able to improve on the value of our coffee, for example, the value of our maize, because we are still exporting raw materials. So a number of those really, I think, as an ordinary person, I think people should be ready to take on these particular opportunities, so at least we can do transform this country. Okay. So really, there are a number of good things in the budget. So we understand that you are one of those who think that we can still make some more adjustments to the budget. And what are some of those adjustments that you are looking out for, and why? I mean, it's not a perfect budget. It's 100%, because I think there are a number of few things you can tweak. And get more returns. I mean, it's always better to get more returns. And I think one of them is that there are certain budget lines that we think we can reduce. In our assessment, we are looking at 1.5 trillion if actually we are serious about it. For example, we are saying that 1.5 trillion in savings. We can save 1.5 trillion. And yesterday at our dialogue, one of the things we're saying is that look at workshops, for example, and we are saying workshops. I mean, a conference like NAM is very important. You can't say please don't have NAM. Parliamentary sittings are very important, but could we reduce on these particular workshops? Instead of having a 5-day workshop, can we have a 4-day workshop? Can we have hybrid? I mean, I was giving an example is that I know in the Ministry of Finance there is a meeting called the PEMCOM. When COVID started, we had Zoom meetings, and up to now we've never returned back to have physical meetings, and they are one of the most effective meetings. So government can really save on those ones. Issues around donations, you know, you could say, okay, fine, instead of giving out these donations, maybe we could postpone them for another day. Celebration of this international, you know, the Independence Day, Labor Day, Women's Day, all these ones. We could decide to say we can have them hybrid. And I loved during COVID when we celebrated Labor Day on TV. It worked perfectly. Spent less, impacted everybody attended, because people could be able to watch on TV. So those expenses, we could tune them down, and we think really that we can't save money if we do it. But the big travel abroad, travel inland, I mean, 108 billion shillings travel abroad. Yes, traveling is important. It's not. I mean, I want my Minister of Finance not to miss a World Bank meeting in Washington. He has to go there because you need to negotiate, meet people, engage, network, so that we can get more resources.
You know, with all of this, like you've deliberated in stake, the president still has indicated that he intends to grow the economy tenfold over the next decade. Do you think this is something we can achieve?
We can only achieve that if we change the behavior in the way we are managing, the behavior in the way we are managing resources. It would require us to develop this country at 25% in terms of GDP growth. And right now, we are projecting to only grow at 7%. So you can see it's a huge task. In fact, I was talking to people is that if we want to grow our economy from 50 billion US dollars to 500 billion US dollars, we just get the NDP3 one we have, put it aside, develop a new one, whereby we are very strict that every shilling counts. Okay. Instead of exporting the maize in raw, we say we are going to see on a value addition to every product that we're selling. What will be your closing remarks as we finish this conversation? All I say is three things. Fiscal discipline is the one that can take us to another level. Two is issue around service delivery standards. We must have standards as in this country for any service we deliver. Okay. And lastly, for every Ugandan to be interested to participate in budget monitoring and service delivery tracking. Well, thank you, Julius Mukunda, for making time to speak to us, the Executive Director at the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group. And that conversation takes us in for a short break, but here is more of what you should expect when we return.